on FYI.
There's some big news for us girls in football. The FA have made some exciting changes, but is it enough?
And I find out how martial arts can kickstart our mental health. Welcome to FYI, where we bring you all the latest news on all the big stories.
You may have heard a lot of talk recently about teacher strikes, and you may have even been affected by them. Thousands of schools face disruption as teachers go on strike over their pay.
Like many other workers, teachers believe they should be getting paid more, as food, clothes, electricity, gas and petrol have become more expensive. However, the government which controls their wages say they cannot afford their demands.
In February, there was the biggest day of strikes in 10 years, when more than 500,000 teachers, train drivers, bus drivers, lecturers and many more people refused to come into work in what was called Walkout Wednesday.
Tens of thousands of teachers have now gone on strike, causing schools to close and pupils to be stuck at home.
Here at FYI, we've discussed teacher strikes with the Education Secretary, Gillian Keegan, and the leader of the Labour Party, Sir Keir Starmer. But what do schools have to say? We went to an FYI News Club at Casterton College in Stamford, where two pupils quizzed their teacher on the strikes.
So why are teachers going on strike?
Mostly because the government is not really giving teachers pay that reflects how passionate we are about the job that we do. They don't want to be on strike, but I know they feel horrible about it because it has an effect on you.
How do you think it does impact our education?
Well, I mean, there's obviously going to be a few hours of any subject that you lose and you are going to feel behind because of it. That's the same for schools up and down the country. How do you feel about the teachers going on strike?
It's 1 or 2 days off, but that day I missed out on maths, geography, history, French, which I really need to improve at.
Do you think striking is the best way to get what you want?
No, but strikes are the last part of asking for what we want. And it's actually a formal process. The government set rules for going on strike and everything needs to be done before that. So no, it's not the best way, but it is the last way. You know, teachers who work very, very hard and don't feel very happy about the money they're receiving or the funding their school's getting might be terribly cross and stressed and not be as happy and bright and cheery about their work. And I just wondered whether you'd ever noticed any of your teachers feeling a little bit or looking a bit burnt out or a little bit upset at times. I feel very passionately that the school needs funding and teachers need to feel satisfied that they are being respected in a way that makes the difference to what we do.
If you have a story and want to report on FYI, get in touch via our webpage.
Or even better, get your teacher to set up an FYI News Club at your school. Members can get the chance to report for us. We'll even help you film your story, and you can watch and discuss the latest episodes with free resources every week.
So, are you looking forward to Eurovision?
Yeah, I can't wait for it, really.
It's exciting. I mean, have you seen the UK entry this year?
Yeah, it seems very catchy though.
Yeah, it's really catchy. I really hope we win. Now, are you getting excited for the Eurovision Song Contest? I definitely am, because this year, for the first time in 25 years, the competition will be hosted by the UK.
The massive event will take place in Liverpool, where 37 countries will sing their hearts out in a bid to win the competition.
And since it's been running since 1956, we thought we'd bring you up to speed with some top Eurovision facts. The most famous Eurovision winner has to be the Swedish band ABBA, who won the competition in 1974 with their hit single Waterloo. They went on to become one of the most successful pop groups ever, selling nearly 400 million records worldwide.
The contest has had 5 barefoot singers take the title.
Ireland still holds the record for the most victories in the competition. They've won the contest 7 times, and they also have the rare success of winning 3 consecutive years in a row.
Australia can take part in the Eurovision Song Contest despite not even being in Europe. They were first granted entry in 2015 as a gesture of goodwill and even came second in 2016.
This year's UK Eurovision entry, Mae Muller, once starred in singer Mika's music video for his single Grace Kelly when she was just 9 years old. Recently, it was announced that schools will receive a whopping £600 million in funding from the government to help girls get better access to sport at school. Result?
Yeah, it's all come about because England's women's football team wrote an open letter to the government asking them to make football more accessible to the millions of girls across the country who've been inspired to take up the sport after the Lionesses' win in the Euros in 2022.
And it's not just the government who've been getting involved. The Football Association and the Premier League have both created new schemes to help girls get better football training.
And with all this new training, the next generation of Lionesses could be running around our playgrounds right now. And no one shares that dream more than FYI viewer and football fanatic Ellie.
More than 700,000 girls play football regularly in England. This number has risen massively in the past couple of years, especially with the women's team winning the Euros recently. But there still has not been enough support for girls in football. A report showed that less than half of secondary schools provide equal lessons in football for both boys and girls.
Are you ready?
The Football Association, the FA, has exciting new plans to help us girls who love football get better coaching. There will be special centres set up all over the country to help girls between 8 and 16 years old become better players. There is going to be 70 of these emerging talent centres in England. This means if you're a talented footballer, there is more opportunities to play football professionally. The Premier League is also helping by giving money to hire more coaches to work with girls. So, if you love football, this is great news. But what else needs to be done to help girls play football? I'm here in my club to ask some of my teammates.
So I feel like boys get more like support off people, and I feel like girls need to like get the same as boys do.
Will always be put second.
There's not enough girls like facilities, like toilets and stuff.
Clubs, they should have like a training facility so that there's a home team and an away team changing room. Not many like clubs and brands want to sponsor us as much as the boys teams.
With better sponsors and facilities, then like there's more chance of us becoming better professional footballers.
Boys football teams get more games than girls. Like we've only had, I think, one tournament. We need to get more girls into football and get more girls' games going on.
So, the FA have made a great step in the right direction, but like my teammates say, there still is more to be done.
Because of our last programme, refugee Arvin hit the headlines after he quizzed Sir Keir Starmer on what Labour would do to help refugees arrive safely in the UK.
Mr. Starmer, the government says that they want to work with the French authorities to stop people reaching the UK on a boat, like my family did. But what about working with the French to help provide a safe route to the UK for genuine refugees like me? Would you do that?
Arvin is an Iranian refugee who reached the UK with his family on a small boat run by illegal people smugglers. The journey was very dangerous and they nearly drowned. It's journeys like this that the government's trying to stop with its new immigration plans. But what's this all got to do with ex-footballer Gary Lineker? Well, we've been investigating. Recently, the football presenter made comments on social media criticising the government's new immigration plans. The BBC said his comments went against their company guidelines and removed Gary from presenting Match of the Day. Some other BBC sports presenters and football pundits walked out in support of him, which meant some sports shows were cancelled at the last minute. The BBC have since announced that they will be reviewing their social media guidelines and that Gary will return to presenting. But what are the government's new plans and why do some people disagree with them? The government says they will ban people who arrive in the UK illegally from being able to claim asylum. That means they will be detained and removed and they won't be able to stay in the UK in future. This is because of a big increase in the number of people crossing the English Channel in small boats, like Arvin and his family.
Another story we've been looking into is the suspected poisoning of schoolgirls in Iran. Over 1,000 girls appear to have suffered mild poison attacks since November. The Iranian government has launched an investigation and arrests have been made. Some believe it's an attempt to stop girls from going to school and having an education.
Women's rights in Iran have been at the centre of attention since the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini. Mahsa was arrested for apparently not wearing her headscarf properly and later died in police custody. Her death sparked widespread protests from women and girls, with many removing their headscarves in solidarity and calling for better rights for women in Iran.
Well, we're joined now by Maya and Melody, who are British-Iranian nationals. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
So, how do you feel about the events that have been happening in Iran recently?
It's really sad because from where we're standing, we're completely powerless and we're just seeing it all play out in front of us and we can't do anything about it.
Like, all we can do is watch, like, because we're disconnected from our families and, like, the internet's been cut off in Iran, so, like, there's no way of communication with them.
What do you think needs to be done to kind of improve the situation?
Because we, like, live in a democratic country, I think with the help of social media, we can spread awareness for the women in Iran, like, without voices who can't be heard.
So, what do you think the future holds for women living in Iran?
Hopefully one day they will be able to express themselves freely through like speech, fashion, song and dance, like any women and girls should be able to, really.
Yeah, because Iran's a country that has like many like educated women as well. It's just currently, because of the current regime, it's not being shown as much.
Yeah, and everyone deserves to have the right to go and learn and, you know, be educated and grow up to achieve whatever they want to.
Yeah. Exactly.
Thank you so much for joining us today, guys.
Thank you.
Of course.
Would you eat this skin-crawling ice cream flavour? A German ice cream parlour has started selling cricket-flavoured ice cream topped with dried brown insects. The unusual ice creams are from a shop in Rottenburg, South Germany, and cricket is not the only bizarre flavour the owner has experimented with. He's previously sold liver sausage and gorgonzola cheese flavour. Yuck.
So we all know that staying active and exercising is good for our minds and our bodies, right? But what if you're not into PE or football mad like Ellie from earlier?
Well, there are loads of different sports that can benefit us, including martial arts, and I went to Birmingham to find out more. Did you know that there are 170 types of martial arts? Judo, jiu-jitsu, karate, kung fu, they're just amongst some of the most popular. Martial arts has been a competitive sport for hundreds of years, but not everybody here is necessarily taking it up to compete in competitions.
Good work, let's go.
What makes you guys like it so much?
It's just engaging. It helps you bring a strong mindset and focus and discipline into your life.
I feel more confident because you put your mind and your body to decisions.
For me, it improves me physically and it improves me mentally.
We get to really have fun and make good bonds with people here.
Good, now your side kick. Nice, well done.
What difference have you seen with the people that have been here from the start to where they are now?
Martial arts is more than just, you know, learning techniques. It's about behaviour, it's about the mindset, the demeanour, getting some tenacity, some fire in your belly.
I mean, you can see you've obviously getting the results, but martial arts can be dangerous at times. But how do you teach it in such a positive but also safe way?
It's not about fighting. It's practised here. It's not to be taken home or administered in school or on your friends or on your family. It's a controlled, safe environment and to be used wisely and respectfully. 2.
So what do you most enjoy about martial arts?
It gets you active, it makes you feel great. My mental health, I think, has improved a lot. Before I was very low on self-esteem, I felt a bit depressed, but now that I'm here, I feel a lot better.
Oh, I like that.
Cricket's my favourite.
Bit better than me, but we moved. It's always great to find fun new ways on how to stay physically and mentally healthy. Football's still probably my favourite, but this is right up there. Well, that's it for this week.
Don't forget, if you have a story or want to report for FYI, head to our webpage at first.news/FYI.
See you next time. Bye.